What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with NIO stock, what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm also going to break down why NIO absolutely killed it when it comes to their deliveries and why NIO did very, very well. They blew so many investors away, and how this could actually end up affecting the share price and why NIO actually closed kind of like red today. What's going on with that? So I'm going to talk about all this information. I'm going to talk about what's going on with SPY and Tesla as well. But before I do anything like that, before I talk about NIO, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon. It ends tomorrow, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Anyways, looking at NIO, this thing is down 4.38% for the day. Had a very interesting day. In the morning, this very, very bullish news came out for NIO. NIO had something so awesome that came out. As a result, we actually saw NIO gap down, try to pump a little bit. It ended up sinking by the time we opened, got one nice pump before it came right back down. Now, NIO was pumping for the last couple of days, getting 10% days back and forth and back and forth. And finally, today, it ended up sinking after the news came out, like a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. I was not expecting this. I thought NIO would continue to pump, especially after the numbers that came out. But instead, it ended up sinking a bit. And once again, things like this could happen in the markets. It's just very uncommon for NIO to do anything like this. However, it's still in a very good place fundamentally. Your share price is in a good place as well, still holding above 14. I want to break down something else that's very important for the company. So, what happened with these numbers? How did NIO do? The numbers are out. NIO achieved a new record high monthly deliveries for July. I predicted this would happen, and that is what happened. The ES6 exceeded deliveries of 10,000 for July 2023. They did 20,000 deliveries in July of 2023. That's a 103% increase year over year. Let's go. They absolutely destroyed it, right? My estimates were showing like 17 to 18,000 deliveries, if not something more than that. They ended up doing over 20,000 deliveries. And once you see the charts, it's going to look even better. They delivered 75,000 vehicles year to date. And in total, their deliveries have reached 364,000, absolutely blowing away expectations, absolutely killing it. And this is very, very bullish news for the long term of this company. You can see right here, in July alone, they did 20,000 deliveries. If they keep this rate up for an entire year, that's going to be over 240,000 deliveries for a year, 250,000. Once again, I'm just saying if they keep up this rate. And once again, it's very, very awesome stuff. Month over month, we're up 91%. Year over year, they're up 103%. The ES6 monthly delivery number exceeded 10,000. Once again, very, very bullish. Then we have the numbers right here. I'm going to see if I can try to zoom into this. I think there's a way for me to try this. I'm going to do this. Give me 1 second, guys. And just looking at it going forward, I think it's looking quite good for them. Let's just see if we can look at these very closely. So you can see the monthly deliveries are right here, right? Look at the last few months to start off this year. All right. January was not that strong. February was a little stronger. March, a little weaker. April and May were very, very weak for NIO. Then June came, we saw some improvement, and then all of a sudden we doubled it. Look at July. You can see this giant rectangle. This is the highest we've seen in their entire history. And if you don't believe me, check this out. We have another chart right here. All right, this is all the years. You can see, you can even freeze this if you want to look at their deliveries. Check this out. They're continuing to beat expectations. This 20,000 deliveries for 1 month is the highest of all time, way higher than what we saw in December of 2022, which was the previous record. They absolutely killed it. And I was thinking that if this news came out, which it did, I was thinking this should help NIO pump. We might see a lot of investors come in. They might try to pump NIO. We saw a small pump today, but it ended up dropping right back down. Unfortunately, it could not hold these levels, and it is a little bit overbought on the bigger time frames. So I guess I wouldn't say it was like that bad as it's trying to hold up. But typically, like 99% of the time when NIO reports something like this, super strong deliveries, it tends to run. Okay, even if it was uptrending, approaching the event, it would tend to run. And this time it was a very, very big exception. And that's possibly because a lot of investors were already expecting this. They knew that this would happen. And NIO already pumped in and priced this in beforehand. So I know it is what it is. I was really hoping for more upside. But if anything, we did get the ups that we were looking for. I mean, if you look at the last couple of days on NIO, this thing continued to explode. I mean, this thing was in the sevens not too long ago when I was talking about it, and now it's continuing to just tear it to the upside. Now, could NIO continue going up? The answer is, well, it looks like it's due for a slight pullback first, but there is potential for it to go up more depending on the overall market and also depending on its own earnings. But there is still potential in the stock, still very, very strong. I will talk more about the technicals in just a few minutes. Uh, Very strong numbers from them. I think we also saw like Xbox see its highest deliveries as well this year. NIO absolutely killed it, however. You can see right over here, Xbox did 11,000, Lee Auto did about 34,000, and NIO did over 20,000. So once again, NIO was one of the highlights of today, absolutely killing it despite being a startup. And remember, they're all electric. They're not like hybrid cars. They're not doing what like Lee Auto is doing. So awesome stuff for them. Very, very impressive. When it comes to the data coming out for tomorrow, I'm not really seeing anything that's too significant for the entire market. So we do have some total vehicle sales coming out, but it won't be until like Thursday when we get more data. And then for earnings, we have AMD coming out. For tomorrow, we have CVS, PayPal, and Shopify. For Thursday, we have Amazon, Apple, and Coinbase. Just wanted to note that those are some important stuff. UBS has come out and they said that they're neutral on NIO, kind of in the middle. Right here, the price price ratio is going up for NIO. It still has lots of relative strength. And on top of this, historically, NIO tends to not be that strong on Thursdays. We tend to be better on Wednesdays. We're green about 55% of the time, but Thursdays tend to be a little weaker. Uh, and then on top of this, the short interest on NIO is still relatively high. We saw lots of shorts piling in. They may try to smack NIO down again. It is manipulation. I think NIO should have ran today, and unfortunately, it didn't really get much of a run. Only 89 million in volume. So this is kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, except fundamentally, this was very strong deliveries. So what do I see for the share price? And this is my answer. We're quite overbought on the daily charts. I was hoping we would get one more pump thanks to this event, and this is what could have happened easily. I mean, they just absolutely killed it. They should have pumped today. Turns out this was already priced in, and it is what it is, right? Things like this sometimes happen. Now that this happened, it is due for a possible pullback. It may pull back just a little bit because of how much it pumped with all this hype, but then it's going to establish a higher low. It's not going to crash down. It's going to establish a higher low, then start continuing to go up later on, in my opinion. So for tomorrow, I think it's going to trade a little sideways. It might gap up tomorrow morning, retest like the 15 area, come right back down and continue to trade sideways, and possibly drop a little bit lower and hit like 14.5 or so to 14.4 before it tries to just hold around these levels. But that's what I'm really seeing for tomorrow, just sideways price action, a little pop in the morning, a drop, and then lots of sideways price action, and a little bit of downside that's going to be completely normal moving forward. It needs to cool off its RSI a bit, completely normal, but eventually it is going to rebound because this news is bullish. And when we get deliveries like this, it's not going to last one day. It does not mean just one day NIO pops and it's done with. This could have a very, very big ripple effect on the entire month of August, meaning slowly NIO like drops a little bit, then it starts pumping again. It respects a very nice uptrend and holds up a lot better. If they had bad deliveries, NIO would be a lot weaker. Instead, it gained some strength thanks to this, and it's going to hold up a lot better. Now, for SPY, let me just mention there's a good chance it's going to try to gap up tomorrow, retest like the 457 area, but I think it's just going to maintain some sideways price action moving forward. If you look at the 30 minutes time frame, it's been just trading very, very sideways, going back and forth and back and forth. I think there's a good chance we're going to see this for tomorrow. Now we might see this thing gap up and try to push up and get a retest of like 458 because I think Apple and a couple of other stocks may start to gain some momentum. We might see Apple try to push up as well, approaching its earnings, but then after Apple's earnings on Thursday, things could change. But for now, it's holding up quite nicely. I think SPY is going to try to gap up, trade sideways after that. For Tesla, something very similar could happen. We are trying to get across on the 30 minutes time frame. Now, could you argue there's a head and shoulders here? There's a possibility of that, but it could like try to gap up first and then trade sideways after that. And the main thing to look for on Tesla would be the 50 EMA as resistance and the 200 EMA as support, going back and forth. So maybe a small push up, retest of 265, then a drop after that, and more sideways price action. I'm seeing that for Tesla. And for the triple Q, I'm going to be looking for a retest of about. It was very, very flat today, by the way, so we might see something very similar. It may try to pop in the morning, retest 384 to 385, then come right back down and continue to trade sideways. For NIO, what do I see specifically? I'm going to be expecting a pop in the morning, right? Another really, really nice pop. We may see it like try to retest this high right here into the 15 area or the low 15s, get a rejection off that, then continue to trade sideways, maybe drop a little bit, which would be completely normal. And we could see it retest 4.4 right about here. I'm sorry, 14.4. Sorry about that, guys. So sideways price action, a retest of that, a nice pop in the morning, a drop, sideways price action, and eventually it to come down a little bit. Completely normal as it wants to cool down its RSI. And this is kind of resembling like a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. And then after this, after NIO makes these moves, it's going to establish a higher low somewhere here. There's going to be a higher low to be made. Then it's going to bounce and continue pushing. And I think it has lots of potential. Now, if we get more bullish catalysts such as strong earnings or something like that, or strong guidance after earnings, it could always pump more. And we could see this thing make its way up to about the 22 area. But that may take a couple of weeks, if not another month or so, to get there. All right, so that's basically my analysis for now. Yes, I mean, I was really hoping this thing would run up a lot more. Typically, historically, that's what happens the large majority of the time after a very strong deliveries, and it should have ran up. Honestly, I really think it should have, but sometimes things like this happen where we get like buy the rumor, sell the news events instead. And even though that's the case, even though we had such bullish news, even though the chart is not aligning with it, I do believe the chart will eventually follow. Eventually, it will follow, and we just have to be patient. It's still on a nice uptrend. Just have to be patient and do what you have to do. And please know that NIO has so much potential for the long term. I'm still very, very bullish. All right, so with that said, thank you for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. NIO to the moon alongside the whole market as the long term is still incredibly bright. NIO has a very strong future, and these deliveries look absolutely beautiful. I'm super, super excited, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, NIO to the moon, and peace out.